Hello, my name is Michael and I'm a composer of classical music. I'd like to turn now to a piece of mine where the opening of the work was atmospheric rather than based on a particular structural motif. And the work in question was a song cycle based on the life of the Welsh poet Dylan Thomas. I first noticed his name when I was a student living in Delancey Street in Camden Town, and there was a blue plaque on the wall opposite with the name Dylan Thomas on. And a month or two later, a Welsh girlfriend who had come from Merthyr Tydfil knew of Dylan Thomas and his life very well and told me much more about his work and his writing. And also I began some very important music lessons at the time, and the teacher too was very much a fan of Dylan Thomas. So there was a kind of triple introduction to his writing. And so it wasn't until many years later, when I had written for the harpist Sioned Williams, who at the time was principal harp with the BBC Symphony Orchestra, that we began to talk about a work based on Dylan Thomas. So I dwelt on it for quite a time and decided that I wanted to do a song cycle, and two important things: that the words of the song cycle would only be Dylan's himself, and that each set of words would come from a particular time span. So the first song would use some of his words written when he was very young, and the song cycle would end with words that were written close to his date of death. And so the beginning then should be young in spirit, shall we say. However, there was another factor that was very important in the song cycle, that I decided to begin each song with a spoken text. And the first song begins with probably his most famous work, which is Under Milk Wood. And you'll hear how the spoken words end with a line: "This lulled and dumbfound town is sleeping now." And so the harp that starts very softly afterwards just comes off those words rather nicely. But you'll hear after that that it breaks into, again, this youngish interpretation of A Child's Christmas in Wales, which again is one of Dylan's very famous works. So here we go. Let's have a listen.
It is spring, moonless night in the small town, starless and Bible black. The cobble streets silent, and the hunched quarters and rabbit's wood limping invisible down to the slow black, crow black, fishing boat bobbing sea. The houses are blind as moles, though moles see fine tonight in the snouting velvet dingles, or blind as Captain Cat, there in the muffled middle by the pump and the town clock. The shops in mourning, the welfare hall in widow's weeds, and all the people of the lulled and dumbfound town are sleeping now. Years and years and years ago, when I was a boy, when there were wolves in Wales, and birds the colour of red flannel petticoats whisked past the harp-shaped hills,
So that work was presented at the Bragganwyn Hall and the Wigmore Hall in the 50th anniversary of Dylan's death. And actually, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, it was the 70th anniversary, and we managed to have the work performed in Dylan's birthplace in Swansea, and then very excitingly, a few days later, go to New York to have another performance of the work, almost near the hospital where Dylan sadly died. So it was a very moving experience for me to go from his birthplace and near place of death just within a few days.